This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Welcome to Not the 76 O'Clock News Pandemic Edition, Pandemic Podcast. Yes. And I wish I was just, being really overly dramatic of a situation. I am being a little overly dramatic, but yeah. I jest slightly, I poke fun slightly, but I'm afraid today is going to be a somewhat serious podcast. So I will try to keep it somewhat lighter mood, because I know people right about now need something a little, lighter in the news. Although, to be honest with you, it is difficult. To be light about this, but I will try. So yeah, things have gotten reasonably tense the last few days, have they not? For those of you that didn't join last week, I actually have we have had sickness in the family this week. My youngest fell ill first, and then it rapidly spread to the rest of the family. Now, it was not the coronavirus. I stress, it was not the coronavirus, but everyone in the family, one by one, became reasonably sick, actually, with extremely sore throats. I've been fortunate. I seem to have been spared this particular illness that they've all had, which is strange, but there you go. I've almost felt like I was getting it, but it never appeared. I felt a little tired, but that's because I'm sleep deprived. But I didn't get the sore throat, and that was the key thing that they had. So there's been essentially a sick family at home all week. And obviously with the coronavirus worries, we've been being a tiny bit paranoid. I say it's paranoid, not really paranoid. Shall we say perhaps overly cautious? When my youngest got better, she did go back to school, but I was a little unsure about it because she still had a snuffle. She was still but she was pretty much okay. However, on the day she went back, she had a small fall and cut her knee badly enough that she needed to go to the hospital and get those little strip stitches, the sticky ones. They don't actually stitch you, but they have to use those strong adhesive stitches to keep the whole thing together. And unfortunately, today her knee swelled, got bigger, and it looks like it's been infected, which is also pretty crappy. It's not that bad. It's just yet one of those things. Any parent recognizes this, right? Any parent recognizes this. But she's got a fever. So she's got a fever because her knee is infected. Little bit of paracetamol, one of those little kiddie paracetamol. She feels a little better. She's having a bath now. So it's not end of the world stuff. But again, this means every single solitary member of the household is now sort of sick, except for me, who is sleep deprived. So we're being very cautious because of the coronavirus pandemic. The thing is, the reason the sirens and everything are going off here is Norway's going into lockdown. It's kind of one of those good news, bad news things sort of thing. Norway is now, I think, third in the world for per capita confirmed cases of coronavirus. There's only Italy and South Korea that are ahead of us in actual confirmed cases per capita. Italy and Korea, and then it's us. So we've actually got more than our fair share of confirmed cases, which is bad news. The good news, I say good news, good news ish, it's not even good news. The reason we probably score very high is we're actually doing a truck ton of testing. The same is true in most of the Scandinavian countries. We're testing really well. We're absolutely massively testing well. So we've actually, the Norwegian government is on the job. They're doing a good job here in testing and discovering cases. That's sort of good news. Bad news is this probably means countries that are not testing as well as Norway probably actually have just as many cases per capita, if not more. I'm expecting this to be widespread. So I am going to lend my voice to probably many in saying, please don't freak out. Please don't get paranoid. Please don't think it's the end of the world. But treat this seriously. Do treat this seriously. Norway has now gone into lockdown. All of the schools are closed for 2 weeks. Any gathering with more than 100 people needs permission to go ahead. They're giving out lots of warnings. Please don't travel. Please don't fly. If you can avoid using the bus or the train, do so. If you can possibly walk to work, do so. Now, fortunately, my girlfriend can walk to work, although she's sick at the moment. And my God, I'm just going to freak out if she does not stay home. She's the worst patient ever. She's one of those people that just complains and tells everyone off. If I push a little too hard, she tells me off just like immediately. But she's like, oh, but I've got something to do at work, and next week's going to be a busy week, and I'm supposed to be studying for my PhD as of next week. So I need to finish this. So I've got to go, and I don't feel that bad. It's sore and then she'll swallow, and she looks like she just got punched in the chest. You know, that kind of swallow where you swallow and you almost cave in on yourself. That's how sore her throat is. So I'm having to be really, really strict with her, and I'm doing my best. And she's talking about going in tomorrow, and I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to be. You will do as you're told, woman. I am the man of this house. But I'm coming really, really close. I'm coming really, really close to just going full on, primal caveman here and just saying nobody is leaving this bloody house. The schools are technically not closed until Monday, but they've said you don't have to come in if you don't want to on Friday, and I've already told my kids they're not going in. 2 of them are absolutely too sick anyway. The 13-year-old, I think she's actually probably okay to go in. She looks all right, actually. She went in today. She seems fine. I've told her she's not going in again. I'm close to going all Fallout 4 and putting spikes and junk fences around the apartment is what I'm ready to do. So, and again, I'm trying not to be paranoid. I look at it this way. When you've got a virus like this, the people that need to worry are the people who have lowered immune systems, people who are old, young, or already sick with something else. Unfortunately, that qualifies for my entire family at the moment. They're all sick with something, and they'll all shrug that something off without much trouble because they're a damned healthy, annoyingly healthy lot. Yes, they are. My girlfriend and all of my kids, they're ridiculously resilient. They don't get ill a tenth as much as other kids. I mean, our kids have got something like, I mean, most of their classmates have had sick days like 4 or 5 times more often than them. They're just, and my girlfriend's never sick. She's just annoyingly tough. Like, annoyingly tough. You know, one of those people, you know, those sort of people who get so wild drunk they can barely remember what they did the night before but feel fine the next day. Those annoying people. She's like that, but with everything. Just with everything. She made giving birth look easy. That's how annoying she is. Really. So, you know, I wouldn't worry except for the mixture of the two. I am just a teeny bit paranoid, and I want to make sure that they do not go out and risk any exposure until they are 100% healthy. So, yeah. That's where I'm currently at. So, yeah. So, how are you? Sorry to pour that kind of heavy on you. I don't want to do it, and I'm not, you know. But I am just encouraging everyone now. Take these things seriously. The mortality rate of this disease is higher than they thought. And this is especially true if you are, you know, vulnerable, sleep deprived. Because believe it or not, sleep deprived. If you suffer from insomnia and you haven't slept properly for a while, your immune system's down. Just be careful. It's not so much just the fact that you're more likely to catch this when you are weakened. It's those are the people that are having real issues. So just be especially careful. And even if you're just one of those people who's very healthy and you're pretty sure that even if you get the coronavirus, you're probably gonna be fine. Just don't be one of the people that spreads it. Constantly think to yourself, I would always say, assume you've got it and that you might pass it on to someone who's vulnerable, and assume everyone you meet's got it, and just only interact with them in ways that, you know, like you don't have to shake everyone's hands for the next few weeks. Hey, if you're antisocial, the next few weeks, you've got the perfect excuse. I'd love to shake your hands and give you a hug, but, you know, I'm a sensible person. Just be that person. Take this opportunity to just, you know, be the antisocial you've always wanted to be. But don't panic too much. And please stop going to the bloody supermarket and buying up all of the toilet roll and all of the food and all of the paracetamol and all of the other essential things. Because we didn't get there in time to do the exact same thing. So just stop doing it so that we can do it first. Don't hoard. Don't hoard. Don't hoard. But, you know, it's almost impossible not to hoard, isn't it? I mean, if you're looking at your bathroom and you've got 2 toilet roll left and you're thinking, they may not have toilet roll for another month, you're going to go out and buy a month's worth of toilet roll. You can't not, can you? You just get to that point where and isn't it funny? You got to see the shelves and see what's, like, out. And you see what's out, and it's bread. It's things like tins of soup and stuff like that, and toilet roll. I swear the average home in Norway now probably looks a bit like a nuclear fallout bunker. I don't care if the world's ended. I'm not running out of toilet paper. So yeah, so that's it. There you go. Let's move on from that subject, and just reaffirm that don't take unnecessary risks. Yeah. 8 days doom eternal, everything will be fine then. Yeah, why couldn't it come out 8 days early? Or maybe there are other games. So yeah. You're below Gothenburg and not so much panic around here. There's not really panic in Norway. Norwegians don't panic. It's the most ordered sort of, like I said, there are certain things that have cleared out. And it's just because we've just been receiving messages. I mean, I have received like 27 SMSs today from various different government or official bodies, like the school, the gymnastics, the dancing, everything we've signed up for the kids, the band, all of these things. We've just been getting non-stop SMSs. We will be not open for 2 weeks. We will not be open for 2 weeks. So it's like every single solitary parent in Norway has been bombarded with hundreds of these little messages from every little club they've signed their kid up for, telling them for the next 2 weeks they'll be not having whatever. And so everyone's just gone, oh, right. So the kids are going to be home for 2 weeks? Oh, crap. I wouldn't be too surprised to find out there's been a sudden emergency increase in the number of people ordering things like Xboxes and stuff like that online. Oh, God, the kids are home for 2 weeks. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You said we couldn't get them a Nintendo. What are we going to do now? All right, no, order it, get it. Maybe there's some left. So there you go. So, this does in fact affect the channel though. So there are kind of channel news. There is pandemic related channel news. And that of course is my family are going to be home for 2 weeks. Now they've been home all week. I've been unable to really do any Let's Play recording this week. So that's going to go on for 2 more weeks. And I don't have anything to replace both of the current Let's Plays, which are ending. The Skyrim one has ended this week. Outer Worlds ends next week. And all I have Let's Play wise is Skyrim Chapter 7. Now I do have Skyrim Chapter 7, a bit of a relief. One of the good things about planning ahead here. But I only have one Let's Play. I was planning on starting something this week on Monday and having a second Let's Play series, but that's not something I'm even going to think about, not going to stress about, not going to worry about. I have been, as I've been teasing you guys now for a few weeks, I have been wanting to redo some of my tutorials. Specifically, I was planning on redoing the Fallout New Vegas ones. I was teasing it, but I'll be honest, I've actually completed the very first video already, and I'm working on the second one. I was going to announce it, well, not announce it, I was going to surprise release it next week. I was just going to release the video, like, and it's back, sort of thing. But I'm now going to tell you in advance just because of all of this. And I'm going to be working the rest of this week and next week on those tutorial videos. So those tutorial videos may actually get done faster than I was thinking. I was thinking of doing one a week for a few weeks. I don't know how many Fallout New Vegas videos are going to be this time, because I don't think it's going to be the 8 that it was last time. You'll probably figure out why once the series has gone on. I want to do a tutorial series that is a very good base for pretty much any playthrough, whether that playthrough is Tale of Two Wastelands, Frontier, or just the normal New Vegas. But I wanted to bring the series up to date. So that's what I'm working on, and it's going to happen faster than I had planned, because honestly, I think that's the only thing I'm going to be able to record. I know it sounds strange, but the tutorials I can record while the kids are home, because I tend to record it in like 2 to 3 minute bits. Plus, if one of the kids suddenly calls out, Papa, I need more toast or something, I can pause the recording, go off, get the toast, come back, and then just sort of pick up where I left off and edit it in without much trouble. Tutorials, recording them, does not require the same level of calm in the house. As long as the kids are not running around constantly screaming, so I can record in pieces. And of course, we do have a TV and an Xbox, so they're probably going to be reasonably quiet for periods where I can record and get tutorials. It's the Let's Plays I can't do. I can't do a Let's Play like that. I can't be playing for 3 or 4 minutes and keep pausing the menu every time one of them runs in the room or bangs on the door. You know, obviously that would sound ridiculous. You know, I'd be creeping along as Leonard talking to Inigo, and Inigo would be saying, this place is creepy, my friend," and then you'd hear, "Papa! Papa! He won't let me watch Boss Baby. I want to watch Boss Baby, and he wants to watch something completely different." Like, pause, carry on. Not the most immersive Let's Play, and it would of course totally take me out of the game all the time. So that's one of the problems with Let's Plays. Even small amounts of noise sort of drag you out, and you're worried that they're getting in the microphone and disturbing the experience for everyone else, so you start stressing, and then, you know, I'm pretty good at it, actually. If little random noises occur, let's just say a truck starts pulling up outside and I'm hearing a beep and beep beep, I'll usually very quickly find an excuse to go to the menu or something and pause the recording there. Sometimes when I go into an inventory or check my map, I'm checking my map to see where I'm supposed to be going, it's because, you know, my phone started going or there's a sound outside and I need some immersive way of just going on. But with the kids, I'm never going to be able to do that. I could roleplay that Lenny is developing voices in his head. So anyway, back to the original point. It means the Let's Play recording is probably on hold for at least 2 weeks, unless I go back on night shift, which is possible. It is actually possible I may end up going back on night shift anyway. I am having the insomnia thing has crept in for a number of reasons at the moment. But so I might get some recording done if I go on nights, but I'm not going to deliberately go on nights just to be able to get Let's Play finished. Not in this circumstance. And so this may mean I'm actually focusing on the tutorials, and I will finish the entire Fallout New Vegas tutorials very, very quickly. Please no, back on nights. Yeah. So, or he has memory problems and has to check his map 10 times in a minute. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's one of those cases. You ever do that? You look at your watch, check what time it is, and then you think, oh, okay, no problem. And then you put your watch down, and then you think, I don't know what time it is. It's like you've looked at your watch, and you've said, no, I'm not late. But you've not actually registered why you're not late. It's like, no, I'm not late yet. And then you think, right, but what time actually is it? I know it's not past 9 o'clock. It's not like, because sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I'll glance at the clock and think, no, I've got a while left. And then immediately realize I don't actually know what time it is. It's like some subconscious part of my brain read it and went, no, you're fine, but didn't actually pass on the information. Occasionally I'll do that with a map. I'll look at a map and go, no, I'm going in the right direction. And then 10 seconds later think, and that direction is north. Yes. So it does happen every now and again that, you know, I forget what I actually just looked at, or didn't register what I just looked at. So, are you still playing ENB with a ENB? Yes. Am I going to release the preset? I'm not finished tweaking it for every scenario, but I'm not sure I ever will. I mean, I suppose I can release it, but my guess is people who know more about ENB presets would immediately open it up and go, oh my God, what have you done now? Don't do that. This sucks. Shouldn't release an ENB preset unless you know what you're doing, dude. So, but yeah, I might. The good news for people who love tutorials then, we're going to get more tutorials. I have to admit, I'm really enjoying making the tutorials. It's like I've been away for a while. I do like making tutorials. I do love making tutorials. And because it's been long enough since I made the Fallout New Vegas tutorials, it's not artificial. I'm not just making a tutorial for the sake of it. Because I know some people are like, well, you should make more tutorials. The problem is you can't just make a tutorial for the sake of making a tutorial. It's like, it's just you can't read a beginner's guide to picking your nose or something. It's there's got to be something where people are like, yeah, this is going to be a really useful series. But Fallout New Vegas has moved on so much that all of the mods I originally suggested are now more or less, half of them are just no longer in use, and there's a bunch of others that really are useful. So, when I rebuilt the Jack load order, I did realize that, yes, there is actually a really good reason to release a 2020 version of those tutorials. And I think people will find them useful. That's the more important thing. I enjoy making tutorials, but I want to make tutorials that do serve a purpose, and I do feel are going to add something rather than just exist for the sake of it. It's the same reason I stopped making mod showcases. I sort of enjoy making mod showcases, but in the end felt like I was just making them for the sake of it rather than actually it being useful or even something that the viewers wanted that much of. So it was, but now I've just got this. I suppose it's kind of like when I went away from Skyrim for a while. I stopped playing Skyrim after Richard and had a few years of playing other things, and then suddenly was madly jonesing for it. Actually, the same's true of Fallout New Vegas again. I'd be lying to you if I said I have no interest in Fallout New Vegas. I really am looking forward to Frontier. I've even been tempted to do Lonesome Road, although I have warned everyone that if I do it, I am going to mock it mercilessly. And if you're a fan of that, you're probably going to hate me and unsubscribe from my channel. But I've been tempted. I'm really getting this sort of like Fallout New Vegas thing. Well, it's the same with tutorials, at least for these sort of tutorials. I've suddenly got the passion for it, and I feel like now is a really good time for it. Frontier is coming out. Tale of Two Wastelands is going really strong. The mods have changed enough. It's time. It's actually time. And I'm wondering if it's time for Skyrim as well. The thing is, a beginner's guide to modding Skyrim Special Edition. It's the problem with doing it for Skyrim is I have got a current playthrough on the go. And so, for example, when I'm doing these tutorials, what I actually have to do is delete everything. So I had to delete the entire Jack load order after I rebuilt it. I had to delete all of the downloaded mods. I had to delete all of the installation files, everything. Because when making tutorials aimed at beginners, I want everything to look as it looks for a beginner. So, even though I know I could start a new profile and have no mods installed, and then do the tutorials on a new profile, you'd actually see all of the mods I've got installed or downloaded, and I wanted it to look totally like the beginners. Now, there is actually, I was looking at it, I've never done it, but I think I might be able to set up another account on my game rig and I've set Vortex to be a per user installation. I'm wondering if I go in as another user, my tutorial user, if it will actually be completely blank. I'm going to test that out. If I can set the settings up so that all of the mods for my test user are downloaded and installed in a totally different folder, because if I can do that, I can actually, go and the only problem being I'll have some issues when switching between users if the users share a Skyrim installation. It could be a a minor issue, but I might be able to work around that by, just before switching user, go back to a vanilla profile on Gopher, then log in the tutorial user who has a vanilla profile, and, well, they have no profile when I did it, do the entire modding series, then go back to vanilla, switch back to Gopher, and then carry on. The reason I'm paranoid about doing this is just install MO2 portable mode and create a new install for the tutorials. Yeah, no, I'm not having mod organizer 2 for the Leonard Let's Play and then using Vortex for the tutorials. That's going to be too complicated, and I'd have to convert the current load order over to Vortex for Leonard. And then when I was done, I'd have to switch back so I could continue using Vortex. That's not going to happen. That is definitely not going to happen. So, I mean, I'm now using Fallout New Vegas as my Vortex testing bed, I suppose. Oh yeah. Oh right. You're saying I should do the tutorials in Mod Organizer 2. No, this will be my beginner's guide. I don't honestly think I need to redo the Mod Organizer videos. I know Mod Organizer 2 is out, but I mean, look, I'm not even saying I wouldn't see some point of redoing the Mod Organizer videos and updating it for like how to install, how to install mods for Skyrim on Mod Organizer 2. I'm not even ruling that out as a possibility, but I do think my priority is going to be my beginners tutorials. So yeah, I want to get I want to get those baseline tutorials done again, I think. Yeah, I could even redo the Mod Organizer tutorials now that I think about it. If I'm doing Vortex tutorials, can you do one for different profiles? Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing a Vortex, a Part 5 Vortex profiles video. I am thinking about doing that because that's going to be kind of useful anyway for if I do something like a Tale of Two Wastelands tutorial, because then you'll be able to set up 2 different profiles. Ever thought about doing a Rye Bash tutorial? Well, what do you mean? The thing is I only use Rye Bash to make bash patches. That's all I really do. Just to sort of reduce the number of ESPs I've got and make the level lists and the usual things you do a bash patch for. I don't use Rye Bash to install mods, so I don't honestly think I know enough to really. I mean, I'm sure I could learn it, but I'm not totally sure there's much call for it. Again, I want to make tutorials that have an audience as well. And let's face it, anyone using Rye Bash is probably a bloody veteran. I think the only reason beginners would think about using Rye Bash is for the bash patch. And is it Wire? I don't know. It could be. Why? Oh, it is Wire. Why? What? Yeah. Why? Well, yeah, it is actually. Now that I'm looking at it, I've never said it out loud. I've never said it out loud. No, it's probably not Rye. It's probably Wire. It's Wire. Wire sounds better. I've never said it out loud. I just make bash patches. Unfortunately, I hate saying bash because here in Norway that means crap. Poop. Right, Wire. No, it's Wire. It is Wire. That isn't it? Now I've got to go and look. No, it's not. It's W-R-I-E. It's spelt Rye. Isn't it spelt Rye? Is it Wire? It could. Here's the thing. It's kind of like SKSE. Is it scuzzy? Is it sexy? I mean, is it Rye? Is it Rye Bash? Yeah, okay, you know what? I don't care. Oh, it's absolutely. I mean, you know what? Maybe I should. Maybe I'll make a tutorial about just making a bash patch for Skyrim or something like that. Do people make Do people make bash patches for New Vegas? Or do they make merge patches? I mean, I always made merge patches for that. To be honest with you, maybe I should have been. I don't know actually. I've never. Tis Rybash. Yeah, I mean, I've always for Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, I was always using merge patches. For Skyrim, bash patches are reasonably essential, I think. But again, I don't feel like I know that process well enough, to be honest. I just do my own thing. It's kind of like I do Dyndelod. I make Dyndelod patches. But do I know it well enough to make a tutorial? Not really. I can sort of tell you. I could sort of tell you how to do it. I could tell you how to make Dyndelod to use it to create the ESPs and the textures, etc., etc. But I couldn't tell you what settings you should probably use or even what mods you should use because I don't use the ones that get recommended because whenever I use the ones that get recommended or the settings that get recommended, I always find I notice the pop-in more than if I use some other settings. So it's like, okay, so I'm using the 3D trees now. This should be really good. So why does it pop in worse than if I use the billboards? Don't know. Probably because I'm doing something wrong. So that's why I'm reluctant to do tutorials on it. Reasonably sure I'm doing something wrong, but it's good enough. Does that make sense? I've got Dyndelod running, but occasionally I do notice, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. It's better than not having it installed, but that's not right. So the guide you follow, LOTD, uses bash, smash, and zedit patches. Yeah, well for Skyrim, yeah, I make a merge patch as well. That's your Zedit patch, I guess. Have to remove any leveled lists from it though. Dyndelod still has tree popping to some extent. Right, I suppose maybe it's, but I actually find the tree popping worse when I do 3D trees sometimes, unless I really push the 3D trees quite aggressively, and then I actually get massive performance drops. So it could be just the mods I'm using. Like the other thing I noticed is if I use the latest version of enhanced vanilla trees or something, the LODs for it, it looks bloody awful on my game for some reason. So it's quite often whenever I use you read most of the recommendations on these on pages, like so you go along and you download enhanced trees LOD mod or something. It says I recommend you use this, this, and this, and I use them all together. And I think it looks bloody awful on mine. Something's not quite right. So I'd love to know how to not use 3D trees in Dyndelod. Makes my game stutter horribly. That's not actually that hard. It's just a setting in the launcher. Although I think if you've run 3D trees once, you have to go along to... I think it's like there's like the Dyndelod scripts folder or something, and you have to delete some text files, some generated text files. I think, don't quote me on that. I seem to remember when I was playing around with 3D trees versus not 3D trees, I had to keep deleting certain generated files. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You have to delete System 32. Please ignore Crystal Palace. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Merch deliveries could be delayed because of COVID-19. Not sure they will be. Yeah, that is actually true, isn't it? Yeah. Just total sidetrack there. If you've ordered merchandise and it's delayed, it could be because of the virus. It's possible, actually. So, right. Anyway, so the long and short of it is I've got my tutorial making bug again, but I don't want to just randomly make tutorials for the sake of making tutorials because I enjoy making tutorials. I want the tutorials to be things that A, I actually know, and B, I think the audience will want to know. So there is still a limited amount of tutorials I can make, but I can definitely update several of the tutorials I currently have and perhaps add a few more. So it's helpful, believe it or not, to have the ear of so many great mod makers. I've been picking Roy Batty's brains, something rotten about this. In fact, he was one of the people that was sort of like coaxing me to try and to redo the tutorials, and told me that there's the mods have really changed a lot, and he was absolutely correct. So, and it's nice that I can sort of like go along and poke certain mod makers, and say, "Oi." No schlongs of Skyrim tutorials. No. Player slot available. Well, you did do CBBE. That is sounding a bit sexist to me. Oh, you mean the tutorial I did about the body slider? And, well, yeah. Well, I'm not sure why that's sexist. I did do a tutorial about that because there were a lot of people who were having trouble using it, and I sort of, at that time, I was in several chat groups that were part of Skype, back when they all used Skype rather than Discord, and I have a feeling the guy that did the body slider was in one of those groups, and I chatted with him reasonably often, I seem to remember, and it seemed like a good tutorial to make. That was one of those mods that actually a lot of people wanted to know how to install, and I just knew how to use it. So I mean, the fact that people use the body slider and CBBE and things like that to make women look unnatural or ridiculous, or ways you find, shall we say, offensive, that's other people. That's other people. I'm just interested in the mod, the technical side of it. What you do with that knowledge, is completely up to you. The same is true of everything, right? All of my tutorials are there to show you how to mod. If you choose to use that information that I give you to make your game utterly ludicrous and mod it in a way that I would never dream of playing, that's fine. I've got no issue with that. You mod the game the way you want to mod the game for you. I will show you how to mod the game. Honestly, CBBE and Body Slider are a lot harder to get working than SOS. Yeah, no, SOS is not something you're going to get a tutorial from me about. I'm sorry, if that particular mod is hard to get working, you're on your own. The Body Slider one, there are plenty of body presets for the Body Slider that are ones that are perfectly reasonable and I might use and don't mind making a video about. I don't even mind making a video about the ones that are all, voluptuous and sexy. But schlongs of Skyrim, you've met my limit. I'm not doing an installation video for that. If it was actually part of a body part modifier mod where you could adjust every single body part on your character, and it just happened that the most popular way of doing that was to modify the schlong, yeah, I'd probably make a video about it anyway, and then if that's what you use it for, that's up to you. But if the only thing about the mod is schlongs, then you're on your own. You're on your own. I am a firm believer that when it comes to things like sex, you don't need a tutorial from a middle-aged man. It's a sort of a general guideline. If you want to turn your game into a porno movie, you're probably going to figure it out all by yourself and enjoy it a lot more if you didn't have a middle-aged man saying, and now you take it out and you place it in, it's just better for everyone if that tutorial never happens, right? So anyway, that is really the main news this week. The coronavirus has landed in Norway. It has disrupted my family life. My family are sick, but not with the coronavirus. And they're going to be here for the next 2 weeks minimum, making Let's Plays very difficult to record and making it far more likely that tutorials are the only things I can get done. I mean, they will disturb even the tutorials. I won't get as much work done, but it will allow me to focus a little more on it. So, hey, if you're into the tutorials and not so much into things like the Outer Worlds, the next couple of weeks might be good for you. Although, I gotta be honest with you, if you're following my channel at this point, you probably don't need a beginner's guide to modding Fallout New Vegas. You really don't. I suppose it is possible someone might be following me, has never played it, and now suddenly has the urge to play it and actually genuinely, really, honestly would find it useful. And if so, that is good. But I suspect it's going to be more useful for people who don't necessarily come along to my channel and are just hearing about things like Frontier and thinking, oh, maybe I'll reinstall Fallout New Vegas, that type of thing. And the tutorials could be useful. So you have never played or modded New Vegas, really? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misjudging my audience. Maybe there's just a ton of people who've never modded any of their games and yet for some reason just watch me play modded games. I suppose it is possible. I suspect most of my patrons are actually here for the Let's Plays, not the tutorials. You're reinstalling Skyrim because your wife wants to play it for the first time. Might need the tutorials. Right, I think a lot of veterans will use my tutorials as like a refresher course, maybe, or a way to avoid doing what I had to do, which was to go back and say, all right, well, what are the must-have mods now? Because it was nice to be able to go and poke people like Roy Batty and say, all right, these are the bug fix mods I was thinking of using. Do you think there are any others I need? And him go, oh yeah, you definitely need JIP LNS, whatever it was. I can't even remember what one was called. It was some bloody strange sounding mods now. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that one that enhances the functions for NVSE, but isn't really a bug fix, is it? I mean, that doesn't belong in a bug fix video. And he's like, nope, it has some engine fixes. I'm like, what? Really? Yeah, JIP LNNVSE. And so it's nice to have someone who can actually say, yep, you also might want to try Stewie's tweaks. Like, what are you talking about, you crazy person? And you go along and you find out that actually, another bug fix thing. So it's kind of useful that I can do that. And I suppose for a lot of you, you don't have that advantage. So if I make a tutorial and can give you This is what I would consider the essential bug fix mods as part of the tutorial. I suppose that is useful for you as well. Plus, of course, a lot of the mods are now replaced or updated. Darnified UI, for example. The Darnified UI is disappearing from Bethesda's forums because Bethesda's forums are closing down. So the only place you'll be able to get Darnified UI in future will be from the Tale of Two Wastelands site. And it needed a new patch as well. It's actually an improved version of the Darn UI. So just think little things like that. And of course, Universal HUD is no longer recommended by the mod author. The mod author has said, don't use this mod, it's crap. Use this other guy's mod, it's much better. And so on and so forth. So things have changed. How about additional live streams as well? I already do 3 live streams a week minimum. The TTW Darnified UI works on regular FNV. Oh, yeah, no, it does. I've installed that version of Darn's UI in my tutorial. In my Jack load order, and tested it out with the patch for One HUD, and it works just fine. In fact, actually, the patch for One HUD actually is kind of nice. I did not make it, so no behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, no, I'm going to do a behind the scenes video series at some point for the Leonard Let's Play, and that some point might be reasonably soon, because you know, there are plenty of things I've been dying to tell you ever since chapter 1, but I probably won't be able to tell you until, I don't know, probably like chapter 9 and 10 have finished, something like that. And then there are other things I might be able to tell you earlier. I don't honestly know. It might be one of those things of when the Leonard Let's Play comes to a close. Because it's like, I sort of would like to also do a video where I discuss the overall plan I had for Leonard throughout, the sort of their very rough plan. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't want to necessarily talk about it yet, because, you know, it's sort of like developer's commentary. Sorry, not developer. Director's commentary that you might watch after you've watched the movie. Just sort of want it to be done at the end, so that there will be that sort of video, but it might be before I finish the playthrough, Quorico. It's just going to be once whatever I'm saying won't spoil anything, kind of thing. So it will probably be like not until at least chapter 9 is finished. Chapter 9, I've planned ahead as far as about chapter 9, although I've got several other ideas for offshoot chapters, I guess, or chapters after 9 that might have come before 9 as well, but haven't decided. So it's kind of like that. That's why it's very difficult to talk about it as well. Because the other thing then is, if you talk about, I was thinking for chapter 9, I was thinking this or that and this, and then chapter 9 comes around and it isn't whatever you were hoping it was going to be, you'd be disappointed. So I'm just, you know, don't. It is good. Yeah, it's time to wrap this up. It is time to wrap this up. I know we've not really had any news about gaming whatsoever. It's been purely and utterly the world is ending and tutorials are beginning, basically. Time for more South Park. Dear, oh dear. I bought the next South Park game. I did. It was on sale for like a ludicrously low amount. It was like 90% off or something. I thought, I'll get that. So I do have it. I may stream it and then never post it on YouTube. I still have the footage from Stick of Truth. I still have the footage. I just have no idea what to do with it. So, yay, play it. Didn't you not like it, Cindy? I thought you were one of the people that just did not like it. Don't forget the new free games on Epic. I keep logging in every few days and getting them, so I've got, you know. Oh, you loved it. I know Quorico hates it. I know there were a few people that would come in, some regulars would come in and go, oh God, it's South Park, I'm off, bye. and I cannot blame them. As much as I enjoyed that game, and I enjoyed it way more than I should, I do understand that it could be too much for pretty much anyone. In fact, it probably should be. In fact, if it's not too much for you, it probably indicates some massive fundamental character flaw. I just loved the first ending I got for that. I did. When the game finally beat me. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that. Walked out the door. I did. I couldn't. That was genius. That was genius. Yeah. The canon ending. Yeah, that should be the canon ending. In my opinion, that is the canon ending. That's how it ended. There was just... Oh, dear. Dear, oh, dear. Is the South Park playthrough uploaded anywhere? I'm guessing there's a VOD on Twitch. I do have all the footage, but I'm reluctant to upload it to YouTube just because... I mean, it's content that's designed to get your channel in trouble in every way possible, in every single solitary way possible. It hits every single solitary do not monetize. It even hits all the other danger categories that don't even go for monetization, but possibly for channel deletion. And because it's cartoonish, it can even be accidentally mistaken for aimed at children or something. Because you know, unfortunately, there are still people out there who see the cartoon figures in South Park and assume, therefore, for kids. God, I hope they never watch it, because they are in for a massive life-altering shock. Upload them privately, push the links. You can't push links to private videos. You can push links to unlisted videos, but unlisted videos get the same automatic scrutiny of public videos. So, ending the podcast on this hideous subject. Quarico does not approve of South Park. It's odd, isn't it, really? South Park, it was the line, it was the step too far. She'd survived poison creatures, sharks, crocodiles, kangaroos that kick things to death, fire nados, having to play Divinity Original Sin with me, but South Park, nope, that's it, nope. We have found the limit. And on that note, thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I will hopefully be back next Thursday for another podcast, and hopefully we will have some news. I'll probably have an update about the "oh my god, my family are driving me nuts" side of news. However, you know, I'll try and have some news that's not depressing or is not just about us bunkered here in an apartment, desperately trying to hoard toilet paper whilst not getting any actual work done. So, thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time, and I'm desperately going to try and figure out... Oh, thank you, Chasing the Echoes. How to get the credits to roll without breaking everything. And success! Yes! So, good night, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.